What's going on, world? It's your man J Denim, the Lone Wolf on Instagram. You can check me out and follow me. I'm also called JFK, and I am also Mr. Negative. I want to give you guys a prime example of that. This right here is a negative variant. If you don't know what negative is, but hey, I'm Mr. Negative for a few reasons. That's just one of them. Today, I want to give a huge shout out to a guy behind some of the artwork in this box. The contents of these, and even the contents of this, man, I cannot wait to get to this because I haven't seen most of these books in a while. It's been months and months and months since I've seen these books. And again, huge shout outs to this artist, man. If you guys don't know who Mike Debalfo is, I promise you're probably going to be looking him up after this. I'm going to open this right now and give you guys just a glimpse. I want you to not only get familiar or just know the name, but also some of this man's work. Because it seems like we're presented by a lot of greatness with a lot of Mikes. You know, we got Mike Tyson coming out of retirement. We have Mike Turner. If you guys don't know who Michael Turner was, man, huge salutes and respects to him and his family. He was an artist who did hundreds, if not thousands, of covers for a huge list of artists. Amazing artwork. Of course, you know the greats, Michael Jordan, Michael Jackson. And you guys, if you don't know, you do recognize the face. You know, I was doing unboxings of a lot of sneakers, you know, in the previous years before when the sneaker game was at a huge high status. But the guy that I was connected with at Finish Line has been fired since then, and the game has died since then. So again, I am here to talk about another Mike, which is Mike Debalfo, man, and I want to show you guys just some of his work. Like I said, get familiar with not just the name, but some of his work as well. Hopefully you guys can get a glimpse of this. This right here is a hollow foil variant. I just showed you guys the negative, so now let me show you a hollow foil. I don't know if there's a Mr. Hollow Foil or Mr. Foil out there that collects books and other things, but if there is, shout outs to you. But this is some of Mike Debalfo's work, man. Just beautiful, man, beautiful. And also, this is a Lady Death book. I'm not 100% sure what the price tag was. I know it was roughly somewhere around $100 is what they wanted for it. But this right here was directly from the man himself. This is also a very similar piece. If you look at this cover, it might look real similar to the one that I just showed you guys. This is kind of the game that we in. This is what they do. This is how they get you. You might see one, you be like, oh, this is really nice. Like, oh yeah, you like it? Well, don't worry about it because we did it twice. So here you go. Again, this is the hollow foil version. Hopefully you guys can see that. Not 100% sure. But yes, man, Mike Debalfo. Again, like I said, huge shout outs to you, man. Salutes to you and to your family. Thank you so much. He was actually the very first artist who did work it was just, as soon as I seen it, I was like immediately attracted to it. He was the artist that got me into collecting and buying Lady Death books in general, like period. He was the artist that I seen, and I was like, oh my god, who did this? And then, you know, of course, after, you know, just getting familiar with it, I was like, I start, you know, looking up other stuff. So now, of course, I see it most of the time. As soon as I see it, I know it's his work most of the time. But again, he's been mentioned with a lot of crazy great names. Michael Turner, who I just mentioned, he's even been mentioned with a hugely famous J. Scott Campbell in comparison. So I feel like that right there is an accolade alone. But this is also a pretty rare book of one of his own, which is actually something that I purchased from him during his sale. Again, just to get familiar, man. I'm not going to show you guys too much of everything in this box because, like I said, I want to get to this box right here, to some more of the gems that have actually already been capsulized. And these are straight from CGC Comics. And again, Mike Debalfo, thank you so much, man. I mean, not only do you have immense work, but you are an immensely great person. I appreciate you taking the time and doing what you did for me and having these books flown out. Like I said, guys, I have not seen these books literally in months. I promise you, it's no exaggeration. Like literally, it wasn't last month that I got them or the month before that. It's been months since I've seen these books. Here is another Mike Debalfo piece from Lady Death as well. This is actually a metal. I'm not sure, again, if you can get this from the lighting that I have set up in here, but this is a metal cover. Like, this is a metal plate that's put on this cover. And yes, again, it may look really similar to the photo that I just showed you previous. Boom! Side by side. So this, of course, is not a metal, but this is also rare. This was 6 of 150. So this was number 6 off the printer out of 150. This one right here, there's only, this is crazy. If anyone from Lady Death and Coffin Comics sees this, send me a message, comment, whatever you want to do. But this book, there's only 26 of these, right? So this is number 13. 13 of 26. They made 26 of these. Technically, there's more. This is actually a replacement that I got because they sent me one and it was like a ding or something. You know, things happen. It's cool. Quality control, whoever's over there, I want to talk to you guys. I want to come shake your hands and then say, well, how did you miss this? But yeah, so they actually sent me this, and I'm blessed to have loved ones out there in the world. Because yes, boom, this is the second one. These books were $100 on the website. Just because I'm going over this whole Mike Debalfo thing right now, I'll try to make this short. But this is 23 of 26, right? So this is 23 of 26. This one is 23 of 26. Hopefully you can see that. This one right here is 13 of 26. This is the one that I got personally. This is the one that I got from a loved one, right? Now, in comparison, you probably cannot see it as well on video format, but if I do this, there's two totally different contents in these books. They're supposed to be the same book. This is, and mind you, mine is a replacement after I contacted them. So guys, let's work this out. Let's talk about it. Contact me about it. But again, more Mike Debalfo work, man. Just all in all its glory. In all its glory. This is the blue one that came out a few years back, and this is the one from this year that was sold this year. Again, if you don't know the name, I promise you're probably gonna want to start looking him up after I finish this video, man. So I'm not gonna go through too much more. It's just crazy. The content is crazy, and I can only imagine the content in this box because again, I know what I sent to him. So long story short, I don't want to lie. I do not remember what book it was initially that I just had the nerve. Something in me was just like, stop going to these websites, stop trying to contact these companies. Like, go to the source, go to the man himself. So I don't know if I DM'd him first or if I sent him something on Messenger, but I reached out to him, and by the graces of God, he's a good person. He's actually a fairly decent guy. He got back in touch with me. He was like, hey, you know, and again, don't get me lying, I do not remember if he actually had the book or he didn't. We ended up speaking, however it went. He's an amazing person, amazing work again. So again, shout outs to Mike Debalfo, man. Thank you guys so much. Shout out to the people at Lady Death Comics, because that is the artist that got me into buying a lot of these books, you know. And as you can see, I'm not a new kid on the block. You know, some of these books are older, and the book that I actually got from Lady Death that I was looking at that he did that attracted me to his work. Crazy enough, I got it, and it took me so long. Like, it took me years, like literally years. The book that I seen that Mike Debalfo did, it took me years to get this book, and I mean plural, years with an S, plural, more than one, years to actually finally attain this book. Shout out to the people in Coffin Comics, the Facebook group, the Lady Death Facebook group. Thank you guys, because there was a few people there. It's too many names to name, but super serious love, and I appreciate you guys, because somebody in the group was actually doing a sale, and he actually had the book that I've been looking years for, so I did finally complete that set. This, now, if you cannot see it, Mike Debalfo, right there, .com, his name, .com, MikeDebalfo.com. So if you want to, again, look and see if you can attain some of his work yourself that you may not have, or you just starting off and you want to get into it, my trusty gangrene blade, we are going to get to what I've been waiting months for. So again, I tried to, you know, go back in contact, stay back and forth, reaching out to Mike, and for like I said, for what it's worth, he's an amazing person. He got back in touch with me, and we worked this out. So some books that I had, I flown out to him, and I was just like, man, you signed stuff, it's great, but I had this crazy idea, man, and by the graces of God, you see the packing. I promise you, it's not 2 or 3 books in here, but he got back to me, and we ended up working this out. So these, of course, it's his artwork, but it derives from my ideas as far as the signatures, the placement, and stuff like that on how that goes. So I am going to try to pull this out here, give you guys a glimpse of something that I will be calling gems. And these were actually submitted to one of the biggest grading services known as CGC. If you guys do not know what CGC is, again, some people see, you know, just books, and I see a guy that's into what he's into, a collector, and some people, you're going to see this and you're going to see thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. I don't see it like that. So the first is first, and this is one thing that we are going to have to talk about. This book came directly from another seller who I know has never read the book. We spoke about the book, and even looking right now, me and Mike talked this over. The book looked flawless. So it's actually been to press. So looking at it, there's no ink breaks, there's nothing wrong with the book. There was actually no notes neither. And Mike submitted these books himself, so it came directly from him to the company, but yet they gave it a green label. This is the first one from the box. So let's get the disappointments out the way. And it's a 9.0, but it's a flawlessly clean, amazing book. Again, this is Mike Debalfo's work. He does a signature, but I'm into Asian stuff. Like I really eccentric stuff. Japanese culture is a huge thing that I'm interested in. And I just said, your kanji style signature, can you sign it that way? So thankfully, you know, he did do exactly what I asked him for. It's like, man, that could take some time, but he did it on each one of these books, and you guys shall see it. So this one is very disappointing. The cover, though, is not. That is beautiful, amazing, but it came back at 9.0, and then they partially green labeled it because they're saying that the name written on the cover in marker, which is from Mr. Brian Paluto himself. So, hey, this is how CGC does things. If they're not there to witness it, or it doesn't come straight from them, it's not authenticated. They do not authenticate signatures. So if nobody's there and they don't know, then, and actually, yeah, it's just saying manufactured with 11 of 250 printed on the cover, which it is. This is number 11 from 250. So there's only 250 of these made. This was number 11, and sadly it got a 9-0. We're not going to spend too much time on the disappointments. Let's keep this train moving. Here's another one. Hopefully the last of the disappointments, ladies and gentlemen. But this one, this is a black cover. So black covers are usually a lot harder to high grade. But this one he actually signed. I initially wanted it to be in sky blue, but we discussed it. You could hardly see it. You could see partially some of it in there. But this cover right now was a chase variant. There is only 113 of these out there. So thank you also to the guy. There was a guy in the Lady Death Carpet Comics group who hooked me up with this book. This book looks extremely clean. I do not know how this hit a 9.0, but there's actually each version on the back. This was a chase. This is what they call a chase. So overall limited to 166, broken into 5 subsets. So yes, this is Lady Death Killers number 1. Sadly, it hit a 9.0. CDC, I promise I will be trying to talk to you guys about this to see what's what. Because physically, I literally don't see a crack, ink. I don't see a physical, any notion to tell me that this book is damaged and it should be anything other than high grade. So how both of these books are both signed by Brian and signed by Debalfo, and they both came back at 9.0. That's very odd to me. Very odd to me. So I don't know. Again, I know grading is subjective. Whenever you submit books, again, you might get a 9.4 or a 9.6 sometime, and then some other people might see it and they say, no, this is a 9.8, this is a 9.8. Certain things they do let go and certain things they don't. So let's keep this train rolling. And this is a beautiful book. I wish this was a little bit bigger, Mike, but we'll discuss that later. He actually signed it right here in the bottom. This did hit 9.8, so this is actually really good as far as grading goes. Jim Mint is a perfect 10. But you hardly ever see that. I remember speaking to a guy that submitted books through a store all the time. He was like, man, I could have a box. And he was speaking like a long box. So a long box would be a little bit longer than this. He's like, I could have a whole long box of the exact same book. You send them all to CGC and not one of them have a 10. I said, what? He said, yeah, I could grade every one of these books and none of them be a 10. He said some of them they're printed with like some type of a bend or fold. Mind you, we're speaking about paper. This is literally paper. They're books. So this one came back at 9.8, but once again, being that it came directly from Mike Debalfo, I would have figured they would have took it Brian's signature, but I guess they didn't know. They can't like really read the name right there, so they also green labeled this as well as qualified. Yellow labels authenticated because they know it came straight from the man himself, the artist, but green label, they qualified it at that point. So again, hopefully we're done with the disappointments, man. That's all I can pray for. So 2 9.0s, a 9.8. Can't be too bad. Brian, I'll try to catch you at a con when this whole Corona thing is over. And this one's beautiful. This one's done very well. This one I also got directly from Mike himself. I probably should have went sky blue or white on this, but I told him to do purple. This is Lady Death Blasphemy, Anthem 1, signed by the man, the artist, Mike Debalfo. Beautiful book. Great artwork. And he actually told me this was actually the initial version he turned in with the spider lace bra. This was actually the version that he did, and there's an other version out there which I do not own because I wanted the one he actually did. He's like, yeah, it was like altered a little bit to where it's like partially like a breastplate, like she has, or like a shirt or something like that over, but it's not the spider breast. So I was like, that's actually kind of cool. Very creative. And thankfully he signed that in purple for me, as well as this. Purple is royalty, so Had them signed in purple. And this one right here, I've actually had a few people talk to me about this, but excuse me, this is Lady Death. I'm holding this right here like this because this is like a, whew, man, it's one of those books you don't see too often. And when you do see it, it's amazing. But when it's from the artist collection itself, like these are usually numbered. This book is not numbered. This book has his initials on it, printed, MD, which is what they call APs, which is artist proof. This is Lady Death, Nightmare Symphony. And again, if you don't know Mike Debalfo, man, just, you might after this. The work is just beautiful. Again, it's immediately, to me, immediately something that I'm attracted to. I love women, especially, you know, thick women. So she was fairly done so well that I was just like, man. And then the flame, I was just like, that's killer. That's killer. That's a beautiful cover. So I love that. And again, it hit grade and 9.8. So I'm thankful. I'm happy with that. He signed it in white, as you guys can see. So I'm thankful for that. Very, very happy about that. Again, like I said, man, I'm hoping I'm past the disappointments, man. I'm hoping so. This one right here, this is another one, man. It's a beautiful cover. It's a place I've never been. It's a Las Vegas Con exclusive that they did for a company called Valkyrie. Right here, it's a book called Valkyrie. Company is Mount Olympus. Excuse me, I'm reading the back label as I'm showing you guys this. Valkyrie Saviors Year 1. Again, Mike Debalfo did a crazy job, man. Killer stuff. You know, I say thick women, but you know, of course they bigger than the building. So she's sitting on a building, well done. He signed it in the middle in silver, and I think I initially went blue on this, but again, the blue wasn't showing up too well whenever me and him discussed it. So another killer cover, man. Again, pulled a 9.8 on that. I'm thankful for it. I want nothing less. So, and again, I'm a modern collector. I don't collect anything old. There are some people that are into what they're into. This book, oh man, I got from a great guy actually right here. I stay in Pittsburgh. For those of you that don't know, I live in Pittsburgh. I'm not from here per se, but I've spent time here. I live here. And the guy behind this company, his name is Brett. Shout out to Brett. Thank you so much, man. I got this from him. He did something called Rim, a cover for his company, which I believe is Blue Ribbon. Mike Debalfo, boom, that beautiful red thing. And if I'm not mistaken, there's 3 different renditions of this cover. There's a purple version, and I believe there's a gold or a goldish version, goldish white. So this one he actually signed in gold. I'm not sure if you guys can see that. Hopefully you can see that a little bit, but he signed this one in gold. Rim 8, number 0. This is just beautiful, man. Yeah, Blue Rainbow edition. This is from the company Blue Rainbow. Great guy named Brett who actually lives here. He's a local here where I stay at. So shout out to him. Thank you so much, because he sent me this book, and me and Mike, we were wondering how this book was going to grade, man. We really were. So shout out to him for that. I guess the disappointments aren't over. So I got to sit down on this one. This I'm definitely going to have bust open, because again, I would never even submit a book that would be questionable to not make grade for me. So this is a brown cover. And again, with no just cause or nothing. I'm looking at the condition as I'm talking to you guys. But this is a beautiful cover. I think because it looks old, maybe that somebody someplace somewhere thought like, oh, okay, maybe this is damaged, or maybe this is, but this graded a 9.0. How and why, I do not know. It is a black back cover. And like I said, dark covers are harder to high grade, but there's no ink breaks. I've literally seen damaged books come back 9.8s. Like I know they allow but so much when they hit each grade. So what really made them do this, I do not know. But as you say, this says limited edition of 100. So there's only 100 of these printed. There's 100 versions of these. And again, me and Mike, we have spoke about it. And you know, he's the artist, man. You know, if he's the artist behind it, and he's telling you, yeah, I don't see anything wrong with this. This book looks flawless. There's no way. If it's a 9.6, I'd be surprised. I'm like, yeah. So, but again, man, it's the first time I haven't seen these books in months, and I'm just happy to have them back in my hands in my collection. This one's beautiful too. This is Charizard number 2. Thankfully, that graded. So we nominated that thing. Happy about that. Very happy about that. And he signed this one in white. I feel like, yeah, do it in white because it kind of will bring it out. You know, she has white assets. The stuff that she's wearing is primarily gold, so I feel like it would just look amazing gold label. So same thing with, you know, some of the stuff that I get done. I know it's crazy, but I try to kind of color code and match the cover of the book. And this I'm really thankful for too. This is actually confirmed from him. This is the second cover Mike Debalfo did that he actually had like published, his actual second published piece of work. This is Tales from Wonderland. It's amazing cover, man. I love it. As you guys can see, man, I'm a symbiotic collector. Like I said, this is just some of the stuff that I'm interested in books, comics, games. My competitive nature with Street Fighter just derives from like a forever thing. So I told him one day I'm gonna get you to do a Street Fighter character or a symbiotic character like Anti-Venom or something like that. One of these days I'm gonna get him to do a commission on one of a character like that. But yeah, man, this is the grand finale. This is the last of what is submitted. There will be more. I promise you there will. Actually, pause for a second. Hang on. There is another book in here. And we spoke about this. I totally forgot about this. I asked him, this is actually my second copy of this book. The one I believe I bought from the site, it actually came signed. So, the last of the shebang, which is a raw book, ungraded, as you see, it's not capsulated, excuse me. This is Samurai of Oz. Not an extremely popular title, but man, it's a great cover. So once again, another one from Mr. Debalfo himself. Beautiful cover. I love that background. I think this deserves to be blue label. I think we're gonna go with this without a signature. So I'm gonna definitely make sure I microscope this as far as condition wise go to make sure it makes grade. But this is just an example of some of the books that I own from Mike Debalfo. Glad to have these back in my collection. Again, anybody from CGC seeing this or anybody that's into grading books, you know how I feel about some of those grades. 3 of the 13, I believe, or 11. It's not too bad, but I'm grateful nonetheless. Thank you guys for taking the time to check me out, check this video out. Stay tuned and check back with me later. I promise to be presenting more books and more stuff hopefully you're either interested in or you will be getting interested in. So again, huge salutes to you guys. Thank you for checking in, and thank you once again, Mike Debalfo, man. I feel like I've said his name 40 times in this video. But thank you guys for tuning in, and peace and love. I'll catch you on the next one.